the rivers of Babylon, where we sat down, and there we were when we remembered Zion.
It took me a while to watch the video. Not because I didn't have the time, but because I was avoiding witnessing the brutal attack of George Floyd, a black man, by a police officer, a person who is meant to protect and serve. I waited because I'm sensitive, and I knew that it would make me cry and that the image wouldn't be able to get out of my head, an image that would haunt my dreams. Yet every white person needs to watch this video. We need to begin to understand the brutality that haunts Black people. As white people who live in this country, as white people who vote in this country, as white people who raise our families in this country, we must try to understand the racist realities that people of color face every single day. And we must work to try to fix a system that was built 400 years ago on slavery and continues to oppress so many in so many vicious ways today. That awareness begins with being on that sidewalk right next to that cop car, right on the ground with George Floyd. God, it's my face. I didn't do nothing serious. Please, 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 I can't breathe. Please, man. Please, somebody. I can't breathe. I can't breathe. Please. Our Torah begins with two questions that are not exactly answered. First, in the Garden of Eden, after the incident with the apple, God asks Adam, "Where are you?" Ayeka. Then, a little bit later, Cain kills his brother Abel, and Cain asks God, "Am I my brother's keeper?" I can't move. Mama, mama, my knee, I'm through. George Floyd cried out to his mama. In his last moments, he cried out to the woman who birthed him, a woman who had died years before. God cries out to Adam, "Where are you?" Adam doesn't exactly answer. He says he's hiding. But today, we must answer much more directly. We must say, Hineni. Here we are present, we are ear to the ground, down on the sidewalk with George Floyd, and we are listening. I'm claustrophobic. My stomach hurts, my neck hurts, everything hurts. Some water or something, please, please. Cain asks God, "Am I my brother's keeper?" God doesn't answer. But today, we must look deep inside ourselves and dig up the courage to give the only answer that enables us to exist as we wish to be in this world, denying that we are heartless, disconnected individuals and affirming that we are interconnected souls. Yes, 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 we are all our brother's keepers. Those cries of George Floyd, we hear them. We actually believe that it is our responsibility to respond. I can't breathe, officer. Don't kill me. They're going to kill me, man. Come on, man. I cannot breathe. I cannot breathe. When we say Shema, there is a custom that some have and that we did today of saying each word in one breath, thereby feeling our breath as it is being released from our lungs, engaging with our life force as we declare God as one and the oneness of the universe, a oneness that unites you and me, black and brown and white, and declares Yud, Hey, Vav, Hey, God, a breath, connects all of us and connects us to our very being. They're going to kill me. They're going to kill me. I can't breathe. Please, sir. Please. I can't breathe. We are in the midst of a COVID-19 crisis, an epidemic disease that is taking away our breath, a disease that hardens our lungs and makes it impossible for us to breathe. We are also in the midst of a different epidemic, a public health crisis of racism, which will have no vaccine and no drug to make it go away. This is an epidemic which will only go away when we do the hard work of personal and community affirmative action day after day, decade after decade. There is no magic drug to be discovered or smart scientists that are working on it. It is going to take deep listening, thoughtful engagement, and community activism by each and every one of us for the rest of our lives and beyond. The fact that a Black man was killed by a brutal cop is only an indication of this disease, a symptom of what is infesting our communities and hardening our hearts. We Jews know what it means to live with systemic oppression, to be treated subtly or overtly as the other. Yet for those of us who are white Jews, we can take our kippot off. We can blend in when the going gets tough. We can pass in a way that our brothers with Black and brown skin cannot. We need to understand what it's like to stand out, to be the obvious, indelible other. We are being called upon today to understand how systemic racism inescapably targets African American people on the streets, in our schools, in our workplace, and in the halls of justice. We must work to truly understand how skin color alone restricts our African American brothers and sisters' ability to climb the ladder and to live what we like to refer to as the American dream. I've read a lot over this past week, and I was deeply moved by so much. But I want to share a piece by Lee Pelton, the president of Emerson College. He shared the following. I have been pulled over driving while Black more times than I can remember. I have been spit on by a white parking lot attendant. I was stopped 20 feet from my house by 2 white police officers in their cruiser. I was pulled over twice in a single night by police officers because, according to each of them, I didn't turn on my turn signal at the proper time at the stop sign. As the president at the university before I was at Emerson, 2 teenage boys drove up on the sidewalk to block my path to my home because they thought I looked like someone who was suspected of breaking into neighborhood homes. When I asked what that person looked like, they described someone who was 20 years younger than me. These are the realities of being Black in America today. Put yourself in their position. Try to empathize. And all of this, we hear all of this, we see all of this, and then we have a president without the courage to stand up and say, as a nation, we treat Black Americans badly. We have institutionalized racism and it needs to change. Instead, we have a president who instead wields tear gas and rubber bullets on peaceful protesters, including an Episcopal reverend who was outside of the church to support the protesters. Our president instead does all of this in order to take a picture holding a Bible upside down, I might add, in front of a church in which he does not pray. This was showing a profound lack of moral leadership and a profound lack of human decency. The Episcopal deacon has decried this act, and we Jews must do the same. We are people deeply connected to a vibrant and rich religious tradition, a tradition that demands we remember every single day that we were slaves in the land of Egypt 4,000 years ago. Yet African Americans were enslaved 135 years ago. Who are we to deny that this is a central narrative in an African American life? We must be outraged on behalf of them every single day, and we must insist that their pain is recognized in the highest offices of our government. The Torah teaches that the day is long, the work is formidable, yet it also teaches, if not now, when? And so starting now, every day, every time I hear Zecher L'Tziat Mitzrayim, the memory of the exodus from Egypt, I am going to redouble my effort towards personal affirmative action for people of color in this country, and I hope that you will join me. We can come out of this terrible time with a renewed sense of purpose, and we can make our country better with grassroots personal and communal action. To do this, I ask you to commit with me. Let us first commit to understanding, to reading books on race, fiction and nonfiction, so that we can grasp the realities faced by African Americans. I'm starting a shul-wide book club. I invite you to order or download White Fragility. I will guide us through our reading with discussion groups and online forums and sermons as we are completing the book in the coming months. But I understand that understanding itself is simply not enough. If we must actually also take action. We must be people, Rodfei Tzedek, Po'alei Tzedek, pursuers of justice. We must be doers of justice. So let us commit to shopping at stores and at restaurants owned by people of color. If we want to believe that people of color have equal access to the American dream, then we have to make sure that we are consciously choosing to patronize their businesses, because their businesses have been chronically hampered since the end of slavery just 165 years ago. I'm not talking about the time of Pharaoh. I'm talking about the time of your great-great-great-grandmother. Let us choose to rethink educational realities as well, understanding how privilege affects children's lives, and put our time and money into educational affirmative action. A few years ago, DPS commissioned a report in which the educator and one of the educators at Denver Public Schools asserted African Americans in DPS are invisible. My daughter now goes to George Washington High School, which is 33% Black and almost 70% people of color. 55% of these kids at George Washington High School qualify for free or reduced lunches, a significant number of whom are African American. I want us to think for a minute about the financial insecurity this represents. If a family of four makes $30,000 a year and can't afford lunch for their kids, how can they ever afford SAT tutors or college application tutors? Is the path to higher education really fair when my daughter has a helicopter mother and a math and chemistry tutor to get her through and get her A's, help her to get A's on her toughest subjects? Many of her classmates cannot even afford lunch. What would it mean for me to pay for a student of color to have subject tutoring and then SAT and admissions tutoring equal to that of my own daughter? To take one step to level out the playing field? How can we each personally assert affirmative action in higher education? To think we can and to think we should, even if it means that it might be a challenge or it might take away from our own children. This is the kind of commitment that it is going to take today, and I challenge you each to join me. Let us also commit to supporting Rodfei Tzedek, our team of community organizers at our congregation. Rodfei Tzedek has already been working earnestly on affordable housing legislation with the guidance of Jewish Colorado for the past few years. The team meets regularly and is committed to lasting systemic change. Lack of affordable housing disproportionately affects the African American community. Thus, along with a fair tax code, this would make a profound difference for working people of color in Colorado. And let us also commit to immediate political action. I want to challenge you to call your state senator and encourage them to vote yes on Colorado SB 2217. This is a bill that works to enhance law enforcement integrity. This bill ensures that officers have body camera recordings and that they are released to the public within 2 weeks. This bill prohibits chokeholds and allows the use of deadly force only when an officer is in imminent danger. It enforces annual reporting on use of force and police policy violations, as well as traffic stops and objective reasons for those stops. And this bill removes officers who are found or plead guilty for using inappropriate force, while also enabling officers to be sued for civil rights violations. This is all reasonable. Being a cop is hard, and there are many out there who work hard to protect us each and every day, putting their own lives on the line. But those who don't, those who are racist and have racist inclinations, who abuse their power and their position, those who are brutal and violent, they need to be stopped. We need a way for our system to operate, or otherwise, we are going to continue to see many Black people losing their lives. Rodney King was beaten in 1991, 29 years before George Floyd was killed. And in between, countless other mothers' sons were lost. We have to change American policing. Our Torah teaches us, do not stand idly by the blood of your neighbor. Let us commit today to saying loudly and clearly, we will not stand idly by. Black Lives Matter. Some folks assert that we should not be saying this, that we should instead be saying all lives matter. But that entirely misses the point. Of course, all lives matter. But when a fire truck comes, it doesn't spray water on every single house in the neighborhood. Every house matters, but the house that's burning needs the water. The house of our Black brothers and sisters is burning. They need the water. Black people's lives matter, and that needs to be affirmed loudly and clearly, because there are people in this country who don't believe that this is the case. Avadim hayinu. We were slaves thousands of years ago, and they were slaves yesterday. This is a long sermon, and I have only begun in this sermon to touch on this topic. This is a long task that we each have in front of us. This past Wednesday, I went downtown to the protest. Like many of you, I'm afraid of COVID-19. So I had waited days before I went, but there reached a point where I just couldn't stay away any longer. I needed to be side by side my African-American brothers and sisters who can't afford not to be there because their lives and their futures are on the line. One young woman took the megaphone and captivated the crowd. She ended her speech with a vital message. She said, the rallies and the marches, they will eventually end. But the big question is, what will you do after we are done marching? Which side of history will you be on? That's the question, folks. That's the question for us to really think about deeply today and act on. When we get up from that pavement, when we take our ear from the ground, will we still hear George Floyd's cries? Will we remember what he looked like, how he sounded as he gasped for his last breaths? Will we take this seriously enough to turn our attention away? Or will we take this seriously enough not to turn our attention away as soon as the next big news event captures our interest? Will we be able to stay here, ear to the sidewalk, moving forward? Because this work is going to be hard, it is going to take perseverance, and it is going to take resilience, and it is going to take commitment, not just when it is convenient, and not just when it doesn't hurt us or doesn't come in the way of the joys or the privileges that we have come to recognize as our own. It is going to mean remembering those cries of George Floyd, Breonna Taylor and Ahmaud Arbery, and Eric Gardner and Trayvon Martin and Philando Castile. It is going to take each and every one of us thinking deeply enough that we actually come face to face with our own discomforts and then bravely moving forward to do what we need to give our next generation a shot of living with equality and fair access to the American dream and without discrimination based on skin color. Rabbi Abraham Ibn Giveral reminds us, if a person is witness to an unjust act and she does nothing to stop it, it is as if she has done the act herself. There is no such thing as an innocent bystander. Nishmat kol chai tevarech et shimcha Adonai Eloheinu. The breath of everything praises you, God. We sang this morning. The breath of everything praises you and has the opportunity to make godliness, goodness, justice, and light manifest in our world. The house is burning. Mothers are crying. We have our breath. How will we use it?
Sweet mother, I'm coming home. Now I know I'm not alone, 'cause I've been far and now I'm close. Sweet mother, I'm coming home. Tell me, mother, can you hear me sing? Your love is everything, heart and soul, breath and skin. Your love is everything. Oh, mother, please hold me tight, 'Cause mother, I need some help tonight. What went wrong will soon be right. Oh mother, please hold me tight. Tell me, mother, can you hear me sing? Your love is everything, heart and soul, breath and skin. Your love is everything. Oh mother, this world is strange. Love me, mother, and make me brave. In my dreams, on this stage, oh mother, this world is strange. Tell me, mother, can you hear me sing? Your love is everything, heart and soul, breath and skin. Your love is everything. Tell me, mother, can you hear me sing? Tell me, mother, can you hear me sing? Your love is everything. Your love is everything. Heart and soul, breath and skin, breath and skin. Your love is everything. Your love is everything.